All right, so the rays of the moon were shining were reflecting at the door, okay, on whom the traveler was knocking, okay. He was knocking at the door, and it was a house, it was a deserted house because it was empty, right? And he was knocking at the door, but no one was responsive to his calls, okay. Right. The poem begins with the speaker designing this traveler and his horse. So the poem starts off with a traveler and his horse. They're at the door of a house on which the traveler is knocking. He's expecting to be greeted by someone, but no one answers his calls. Okay, so now he's knocking at the door and he's expecting someone to come out and greet him, okay, and ask him to stay for a night because it's night, or because it's already night time, okay. That is why he's knocking at the door to find some place of shelter, right? But no one is answering back his calls. The narrative हम कहते हैं स्टोरी को, मीनिंग लिखते हैं ब्रैकेट में, moves inside the house. The narrative or the story moves inside the house where a certain presence resides. Certain presence resides मतलब certain presence है क्या? Certain presence है phantoms, ठीक है, एक group of phantoms जो घर के अंदर रहते हैं, ठीक है. That is why those phantoms are unresponsive to the calls of the traveler, ठीक है. They cannot listen to the traveler's calls, okay. Actually they are listening to the traveler's calls, but they cannot open up the door, okay, because that is the spirit, right? Ghosts. There are phantoms within the empty building. They listen well to the traveler, but they are unresponsive to the traveler's calls. The traveler can, to some extent, sense them there. Now, the traveler is getting some kind of hunch or an idea that certain kind of presence resides in the house, because resides means lives in the house. Okay. That is why he calls out a number of strange phrases, and that adds to the mystery of the poem. A number of strange phrases वो बोलता है, ठीक है, which you guys are going to read in the poem, ठीक है. That is on page number 52 and 53. You guys are going to read it on your own, ठीक है. And number of strange phrases वो कहता है, ठीक है. So that adds to the mystery of the poem, ठीक है, क्योंकि these things, ठीक है, mysteries of magic, the moonlight, quietness, ठीक है, ये सब क्या करते हैं, fascinate करते हैं किसको, poet को करते हैं. And the poet is poet कौन है का, Walter D. Lamere, ठीक है. That is why he has written his in this poem like that, ठीक है, in which he has also discussed about mysteries, ठीक है. Quietness है इस poem में भी, और moon के बारे में भी है, right? And then finally leaves without an answer. So the traveler is knocking at the door, but no one is answering back his calls, right? And the ghosts or the phantoms are unresponsive to the traveler's calls. So he has gotten a hunch of that, okay, get that certain presence or phantoms resides in the house, okay, but they are unresponsive to the calls of the traveler. So at the end क्या होता है कि traveler and his horse, they go back, okay, and leaves without an answer. They finally leave without an answer because no one is opening up the door for them, right? Okay, so now we are going to discuss about the homework. आपका homework ये है, अच्छा, इसमें जो आपकी थीम थी, ठीक है, थीम आपकी है लोनलीनेस की है, ठीक है, बिकॉज द ट्रैवलर इज ऑल अलोन आउट देयर इन द विल्डरनेस, ठीक है, इन द फॉरेस्ट, एंड ही इज नॉकिंग एट द डोर, बट नो वन इज आंसरिंग बैक टू हिज कॉल्स, राइट? सो नो वन हैज़ ग्रीटेड हिम. सो बेसिकली द थीम ऑफ लोनलीनेस और क्वाइटनेस की भी थीम इसमें आ जाती है, बिकॉज देयर इज साइलेंस एवरीवेयर अराउंड एंड द पोएम इन द स्टोरी, ठीक है. सो लोनलीनेस एंड क्वाइटनेस की आपकी थीम आ जाती है, विच यू गाइज आर गोइंग टू मेंशन इन योर कॉपीज, ठीक है. ऑलराइट, so this is the homework. Homework आपका क्या है? Your homework is that write the words to know meanings, and you need copies from page number 52. आप page number 52 खोलेंगे अपने book का, and you guys are going to write the words to know meanings that they have written there. You guys are going to copy them in your need copies. Also you guys are going to write down the summary and the theme in your need copies. Theme मैंने आपको वैसे word भी बता दी है, that is loneliness and quietness की theme है in this poem, right? And 3 characters हैं. You guys are also going to mention the characters as well.